forged in the post-war order have fractured, regional architectures have been redrawn, yet here we stand marking 3/4 of a century in which the Pakistan-China relationship has not merely survived but compounded. Deepening from the diplomatic recognition through the 1963 border agreement to the multi-$100 billion CPAC framework. But anniversaries are most valuable when they prompt honest reckoning, not just celebration. The question before this panel and this discussion is not whether this relationship has been consequential. It clearly has. The question is whether its next chapter, the CPAC 2.0 era of B2B partnerships, industrial integration, and the green transition is structurally equipped to deliver the kind of shared prosperity that both countries have committed to. So, ladies and gentlemen, actual grip that what has worked so far and diagnose what are the opportunities and what are the challenges and how we can begin a more strategic and economic cooperation with the China as well. So before moving toward the panel, we have been joined by Mr. Hamid Sharif, who is the former Managing Director, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Dr. Syed Hasnat Shah, Professor of Economics, Pakistan Institute of Development Economics. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Mr. Hassan Daud Bert, Senior Advisor, China Energy Engineering Group. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Dr. Sajid Amin, who is the Deputy Executive Director of STPI, and Dr. Khalid Walid, who is the Research Fellow at STPI. But before moving toward the panel discussion, I would request Dr. Sajid Amin, who is the Deputy Executive Director of STPI, for the opening remarks. Yes, over to you, sir.
Is it now? Great. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is good afternoon from SDPI and from all those who are engaged in organizing this very important discussion. Thanks to Dr. Khalid's team, Saleha and others, and the China's embassy to make this event happen. As Saleh said, I think the question has never been that how strong has been Pakistan-China relations, I mean, and how beneficial they have been. This is the stylized fact that one of the most trusted, strategically valuable partnership globally that has been Pakistan and China's partnership, based on mutual trust and the strategic partnerships spanning 75 years. I mean, this itself really speaks the strength and the core, the depth of this relation going 75 years. But I think the most critical question that will be that how can we build on this 75 years to make it more vibrant, and particularly transforming it from G to G to now more B to B, because this is where the opportunity is, and this is where the challenge is always. But let's start with celebrating this 75 years, the good news that we have had. I mean, imagine a Pakistan without CPAC. And you really have the global's worst energy crisis. 20 hours load shedding. Industry closed. And then comes China. With the CPAC, huge energy investments transforming the entire landscape. Imagine a CPAC, a Pakistan without CPAC. And you have really logistics and mobility constraints, Pakistan. From Krokuram Highway to all many linking roads. So you imagine the Pakistan without CPAC So you have that Pakistan. Even if you have a jump in future, imagine a Pakistan without CPEC. You don't have any special economic zones, SEZs, many other platforms. So this really speaks that, and let's say if go back slightly in the past, though in presence of very distinguished speakers, I'll be sitting as a learner, but as I'm given 5 minutes to fill the time, so I have to do it. So if you imagine the China in the very beginning, and then Pakistan coming in to very strong supporting China's diplomatic connections with US and engaging US and China and becoming the mediator that we are today. So from the very onset of 75 years, we were the mediators, we were the connecting bridge between China and USA. And sitting in 2026, we are still directly and indirectly the connecting bridge between those two great powers, US and China. So Pakistan has played its role as well in terms of. So I will leave again with this big thanks and congratulations to both China and Pakistan for this very fruitful, very productive, very trustworthy engagements, and look forward to hear more on that how can be CPEC 2.0 going forward. This is now the world is transforming. I mean, the geopolitics is transforming, the geoeconomics is transforming, and this is the world with China now. So it's the China who will be shaping the outcomes of these big transformations happening. I mean, you name any transformation, development transformation, you find China as a lead. Energy transformation, you find China leading. Geopolitical major tectonic plates shifting, again, China major in the picture. So I think this is a great opportunity for both the countries, particularly for Pakistan. I would see that how can we transform this into a more vibrant, more productive engagements with China, and vice versa as well. So on behalf of SDPI, I welcome all of you on this side of the table and on this SAFTA side of the table. Back to you, Saleha. On a note of 5 minutes, I could do the only. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Sajid, and very much highlighted the important aspects that how we can collaborate with such a great power of China, how we integrate the industries, how we integrate the learnings from China. So moving forward, we have a video message from Honorable Mr. Shi Yuanxiang, Deputy Head of Mission of Chinese Embassy in Pakistan. So I would request the MIS team to play the video. Yeah.
Your Excellency, Minister Ghazel Ahmed Sheikh, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Dr. Solali and other staffs from SDPI for organizing this event. Since His Excellency Ambassador Jiang Zaidong has been occupied with preparing the upcoming high-level visits and was unable to be present at the scene, neither had time to record the video which he intended to. Therefore, I am hereby entrusted to share some of his thoughts and insights on this special occasion with you. This year marks the 75th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between China and Pakistan. Over the past 75 years, China-Pakistan relations have withstood the tests of changing international landscapes, remaining as solid as rock and as stable as mountain tide in eastern China. The two countries have forged an ironclad friendship higher than Himalayas, deeper than ocean, sweeter than honey, and stronger than steel, setting a model for state-to-state relations. Standing at a new historical starting point, the two sides are committed to building an even closer China-Pakistan community with a shared future in the new era, advancing their all-weather strategic cooperative partnership. First, we need to be guided by head of state diplomacy. The traditional China-Pakistan friendship was personally fostered by the older generation of our two countries' leaders, and is a valuable asset for both countries and peoples. Since the establishment of diplomatic relations, high-level exchanges between the two sides have remained frequent. Strategic mutual trust remains unbreakable, and the interests increasingly integrated. In particular, President Xi Jinping's historic visit to Pakistan in 2015 propelled China-Pakistan relations into a new era. In 2025, President Xi Jinping held talks and meetings, respectively, with President Asif Ali Zardari and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, respectively, reaching important consensus. The two governments issued an action plan to foster an even closer China-Pakistan community with a shared future, taking China-Pakistan relations to a new stage. Since the beginning of this year, Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar and Speaker Ayaz Sadiq have become the first Foreign Minister and the first speaker received by China at the start of the year. In April, President Asif Ali Zardari paid another visit to China, traveling to Hunan and Hainan provinces. Since frequent high-level interactions provide political guidance and strong impetus for the development of China-Pakistan relations. Second, we need to support relations with practical operation as an important project under the Belt and Road Initiative. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC, has accelerated significantly since President Xi Jinping and the Pakistan leaders defined its development layout. It has yielded fruitful results in energy, infrastructure, and other fields, attracting over $25 billion in direct investment and creating more than 260,000 jobs to date. CPEC provides crucial support for Pakistan's economic and social development and serves as a model project for high-quality Belt and Road cooperation. As CPEC enters its 2.0 upgraded version, the two sides will focus on three key areas: industry, agriculture, and mining, and jointly build 5 corridors for growth, livelihood, innovation, green development, and openness. This will better unlock Pakistan's development potential and allow both countries to share the opportunities of China's modernization. Third, we need to enrich cooperation through multilateral coordination. As all strategic cooperative partners, China and Pakistan maintain close communication and coordination on major global and regional issues. Since the outbreak of the US-Israel-Iran conflict, China and Pakistan have actively promoted peace talks. President Xi Jinping put forward the 4 propositions on safeguarding and promoting peace and stability in the Middle East, which His Excellency Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif warmly responded and highly commended. The 2 foreign ministers held 4 phone calls and in-person meetings, jointly issuing the 5-point initiative to voice support for peace and justice. As members of the Global South, China and Pakistan firmly uphold the international system with the UN at its core and the international order based on international law. Pakistan has been at the forefront in implementing the four major global initiatives proposed by President Xi Jinping. The exemplary effect of China-Pakistan cooperation has gone beyond the bilateral scope, bringing much-needed stability to a volatile regional and international situation. Today, the world is undergoing accelerated changes unseen in a century. China is striving to implement its 15th five-year plan with high quality, while Pakistan is steadily advancing its Ulan-Pakistan plan. Both countries' modernization drives and bilateral cooperation across all fields have entered a new phase with important opportunities. Taking the 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations as an opportunity, China stands ready to work with Pakistan to earnestly implement the important consensus reached by our two countries' leaders, deepen high-level political mutual trust, practical cooperation, and international coordination. We will leverage certainty of China-Pakistan relations to counter uncertainties in the external environment, setting a strong example for building a community with a shared future for neighboring countries and making greater contribution to building a community with a shared future for mankind. Thanks a lot. Wish the event a great success and long live China-Pakistan friendship. Jinpa Dosti Jindabad. Thank you. Shukriya.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shi, and we wish that you would be here, that we will have a cake cutting ceremony at the end of the session to celebrate the 75 years of Pakistan-China friendship. And now moving forward, we have a report launch and a presentation by Dr. Khalid Waleed, Research Fellow at STPI. Sir, over to you.
Thank you so much, Alia. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. This is Pakistan and China at 75 years. We have made a few copies printed. We'll be sharing those with you. This is a crux of the report. Crux of the report, that how Pakistan and China cooperation, particularly in the aspect of CPEC, have been is transformed with new economic and geopolitical realities. It is a journey from CPEC 1 to CPEC 2 and maybe CPEC 3 and 4 and so on, just like the industrial revolution we had. It should be transformative, aligned with the ground realities. So on 21st May 1951, Pakistan and newly founded People's Republic of China, they exchanged the formal recognition. And since then, we had 75 years of cooperation that is higher than the Himalayas and deeper than the Arabian Sea. CPEC Phase 1 was launched at 14th JCC in Beijing, September 2015, Hassan, not wrong. And then in September 2025, we launched the second phase of CPEC Phase 2. And CPEC Phase 2 is very important for Pakistan-China relationship because it builds on people-to-people contact, culture-to-culture contact, which I think is very fundamental in the partnership of Pakistan and China. There are 4 global initiatives in motion from China, that is GDI, GSI, GCI and GGI. I would be going into detail in coming slides. And then this recent Chinese-enabled solar revolution in Pakistan. I often say China is the savior of Pakistan's energy sector. Back in 2015, China provided much needed power impetus to Pakistan in the form of coal power plants, which are not facing a very good status right now, but still Pakistan was saved by Chinese power plants, but Chinese-enabled solar revolution, which has decreased the utilization rate of these imported coal plants, but still it is from China. So we can celebrate both the successes back in 2015 as well as the solar revolution of now. This is the historical timeline of Pakistan and China diplomatic relationship. I'm not going to read it, but still you can see that each year the partnership goes deeper and deeper. The strategic cooperation, it became more meaningful. We have bifurcated this into multiple categories, but still it is diplomatic, it is economic, it is geopolitical, geoeconomic, and recently it has shifted towards renewable energy and green transition as well. This is how the CPEC investment portfolio that is around $71 billion look like. This is how it flows from Chinese financial institutions to Pakistan. You can clearly see in energy, it has the highest share, but around 20 billion USDs. China has built the capacity of Pakistan's power sector around 8,000 plus megawatts. 25.9 billion to be exact was invested. In terms of road infrastructure, around 510 kilometer of road infrastructure was built. And then we had this investment coming from multiple financial institutions of China, which shows that there is a potential and there should be deeper financial and economic partnership between Pakistani financial institution and Chinese financial institutions as well. This was the 4 initiative I was talking about: a community with shared future for mankind, GDI Global Development Initiative, GSI Global Security Initiative. These 2 are well known. The other 2 are less known, but we can emphasize on them, particularly in the CPEC Phase 2, Global Civilization Initiative, that is mutual learning based on Confucius Institute in Pakistan and the philosophy, and Global Governance Initiative, reform under the UN order. That's very important because we have seen the global governance system, particularly the UN system, it is becoming fragmented. The regionalism, the nationalism is taking over. We need to build on the global governance initiative so that UN order can be maintained and led the governance path of the globe. This is what Phase 1 and Phase 2 look like of CPEC. The focus of Phase 1 was more infrastructural based. Motorways, power sector, Gwadar port was built, energy mix was strengthened, capacity was built. In terms of finance, sovereign guarantees were provided to these Chinese entities, because at that time we had terrorism, we had energy crisis, and no one was willing to invest in Pakistan. The knowledge in terms of CPEC Phase 1 was mostly on construction-led projects, which had this skill transfer facility as well. In Phase 1, around 25 billion USDs were realized and thousands of jobs were created. Phase 2 is a bit transformative. The more focus is on industry, agriculture, technologies, IT, mining, and renewable energy, particularly battery energy storage systems. The knowledge mode is more people to people, institution to institution, culture to culture, where I think we can see that more emphasis on research and development. Investment that we are seeing is around 30 to 50 billion USDs that would be targeted towards special economic zones. I think Dr. Hassan has a very detailed presentation on that. Jobs, around 5 lakh plus jobs via industrialization and integration of Chinese sector into Pakistan. This is a bit of a gloomy picture for Pakistan because Pakistani imports from China are increasing and exports are stagnant. Maybe in CPEC Phase 2, we can talk about how to increase these exports to China as well. And we have seen that there is a slight increase in the exports as well, particularly if you see it from a perspective of 5 E's from the Planning Commission, Ministry of Planning and Special Development, Udan Pakistan. There is a still potential for Pakistan's exports to be increased. There are multiple financial instruments that are, I would like to highlight those. That is Panda bonds. Recently, we have issued Panda bonds in China, and those were oversubscribed, which means there is high demand for these bonds in Pakistan, and those are the cheapest bond in terms of interest rate in Pakistan's history. MBridge initiative, that is China connecting the central banks of China, Central Asia, Middle Eastern countries, so that they can have some virtual currency arrangements and they can deal with that as well. This is what Pakistan should celebrate. Recently, we had this solar boom. We imported around 40 plus gigawatts of Chinese manufactured PV in Pakistan, which provided billions of dollars worth of hedge in US-Iran conflict. Future is solar plus best localization, EV as regional export base, critical mineral is another good thing to have, and then Article 6 carbon credit market, that is another future that we can foresee. This is Pakistan's Udan Pakistan. 5 E's: exports, e-Pakistan, environment, energy, and equity and empowerment. If you see across the 5 dimensions, there is a potential for Pakistan and China cooperation, particularly in exports, environment, energy, and equity and empowerment. This is the final verdict. There are so many years to come where we can lead Pakistan's economy on the goals of Udan Pakistan, that is $1 trillion economy, and we cannot do it without the cooperation from China. And it should be technology transfer, information diffusion, and integration of Chinese industries to Pakistan's special economic zones. This is the timeline. How I see it, maybe Pakistan can build on China's experience and master the manufacturing of solar panels, battery infrastructure, and Pakistan can lead the way into renewable energy, celebrating the 75 years of Pakistan and China. Thank you so much, Alia. Back to you. Looking forward to an insightful discussion.
Thank you so much, Dr. Khalid, and definitely highlighting that without the cooperation of China, we cannot be a great example globally of the solar boom that we have. And also we should learn from the storage system they have, and also the critical minerals, and also how these technologies and these learnings can be inculcated in the Pakistan's perspective, especially in the Udan Pakistan 5E framework. Moving forward, now we would start the panel discussion, and I would request the first panelist, Mr. Hassan Daud Bhatt, that what are his key takeaways and what is the learning that we have learned over the past 75 years, and what are the opportunities for the Pakistan that it can go forward in the energy or in the industries as well. Yeah, over to you, Hassan.
Thank you very much, Khalid, and all the colleagues, Hamid Saab, Chok Saab, and all the other who are online or in present. Go to the first slide, not the last slide. Itni jaldi tarakki nahi hoti. Mehnat karni padti. So, you know, my presentation today is tailored towards the younger lot. And when I say younger, probably Gen Zs and a little later. Because I believe that you guys, I've made a spelling mistake here. It is why 75th year is important. That's the fundamental question we should ask each other. दोस्तियां और यारियां तो होती रहती हैं, neighborhood भी होती रहती. But why are we celebrating 75th year celebration? And I'm sure you keep writing about Gwadar and, you know, the lost. But on the right side, half of the slide is Gwadar, and this roads that you're looking at, beautiful, is the East Bay Expressway in Gwadar. And then there's an airport right in front, and then the Suki Kanari project, which is also an investment. It's done by CEC, but an investment project. And on the left side, Hamid Saab is like a local in Shanghai, but is Shanghai on the left side with all the towering skyscrapers. So on the left side, what has happened in past similar years to what has happened on the right side in similar years. How many of you are economists here? Not on this side, front side, who's studying economy है? तो कोई है यहाँ पर economist? आप हैं? Miss, what is the, in terms of GDP, what is Pakistan from, in terms of number, where is Pakistan located? First 50, first 70, first 100, first 120? अगर मैं आपको भी कहूँ ना हम सबको कि क्रिटिकल हो जाए पाकिस्तान के बारे में, तो ऐसी ऐसी चीजें निकाल के लाएंगे आप लोग कि नहीं यहाँ पे तो जुल्म हो रहा है, you know. So we must know as economists what is Pakistan's in terms of GDP and also purchase parity also, even in that also, what is Pakistan? So when you understand these fundamentals, only then you can comment कि Pakistan अच्छा कर रहा है, बुरा कर रहा है, ठीक कर रहा है. I'm not saying to you, most of the economists of your age do not read and study. आगे जाइए. So therefore, it's important for us to understand जो Khalid भाई ने कहा and how has this transformed. How has this journey been? It's not been an easy journey. And each of our leader has actually contributed towards it. Each one of them. From the beginning of Pakistan to where we are now. Each one of them has done their bit in bringing this and fostering this relationship between Pakistan and China. ये जो right side पे तस्वीर बिल्कुल right पे है ना, this is a Chinese phrase on this. So why do birds fly like this? Birds fly like this because they want to keep the best bird ahead of rest of the flock. So that means how important leadership is. And when you fly like this, then the clumsy ones like me, पीछे एक मोटा सा नहीं bird, the clumsy ones like me can also prosper because the whole generation is prospering. And therefore, from the milestones of friendship that we have, why is this 75th year different? Is because we're working on the legacy of 75 years. And this is a transactional period or a transformational period. 2047 is not far away. 2049, the centennial celebrations of China is not far away. China has set milestones around that. Pakistan has set certain milestones around. So for that, this transition to happen, this 75th year celebration is equally important because we are transitioning from diplomatic and strategic partnership to perhaps a partnership which is economic or economy-led or technology-led. And that transformation will help most of you. So by 2047, unless there is a healthcare miracle, I won't be on this planet. But most of these youngsters, all of you, from that line onward, should and be in this planet. And whatever we are talking today on the 75th year, I hope on the 100th year celebration, you should not be speaking about that. And the road to that transformation is very, very important. And China is willing to support you in that transformation. Next slide, please. So how in the early phase where we have strategic and defense cooperation, the roads, bilateral cooperation, infrastructure financing, and Khalid has brilliantly explained that. The road for 2047 and 49, which is like a shared long-term vision between Pakistan and China, is about economic modernization. For them, it's national rejuvenation. For us, it's energy security, and I hope we learn few lessons from the Middle East crisis. And for the Chinese, it's technology leadership. For us, it's industrial competitiveness. For them, it's green and innovation-driven growth. And likewise, again, where you guys come in role, is the youth-driven digital economy. And that digital economy is the way forward for us. उसके आप जितने भी corridor कर दें, e-corridor, digital corridor, and but moving in the right direction is important. It does not matter how fast you're moving as long as you're moving in the right direction. So if you are doing that, next slide, please. If you are doing that, then this transition will help you build next 25 years, because this will be a launch pad today if you decide for regional integration, economic resilience, technology cooperation, and shared prosperity. And all of this is supported by your geography, fantastic geography, which is helping you moderate between US and perhaps Iran also. Fantastic human resource, a little bit of sprinkling of productivity, but brilliant human resource. And then of the regional connectivity that we are getting through CPEC, thanks to China again, part of the 75 year of hard work together, you know. So therefore, when you go and move from this journey and vision towards 2047, next slide, you have to look at the stages on which you will want to work. From strategic trust initially between Chairman Mao and our leadership, then of course each of the leadership that came to President Xi right now and the current leadership, existing leadership, it doesn't matter which side of the leadership you support, which side of the political structure you support, but the leadership. And that leadership would take you from infrastructure to innovation partnership, expanding into AI, green energy, and focusing on technology. Because this transition will, next slide, has to happen if you want to remain competitive on this world. Whether it is special economic zone, whether they are export promotion zone, whether it's, next slide, आगे एक slide, एक और आगे चले जाइए. So we should also understand, and there's a narrative being built, whether Chinese economy is going down. So, you know, China's second largest economy of the world, we all know that, but it's contributing 30% of global economic growth as we speak. And if China grows at 3% and India grows at 7%, even then China adds about 17 trillion to the global economy. And it is developed, 35 out of 44 frontier technology, China is leading. 4 out of 5 most downloaded apps in United States, China is leading. Home to 300 EV manufacturer and 400 charging stations. Besides that, cities like Wuxi, Wuhan, Suzhou, Hefei, and so many other second-tier cities taking the center stage of e-commerce and development. Similarly, next slide. It is the top investor in Pakistan for almost now 7 years. Of course, there are loan issue and otherwise that discussion keeps happening, but still it is the largest investor in Pakistan. And the country that might come to your mind in terms of its competition is not even on the chart, you see. And I hope you know which country I'm talking about. So therefore, you should be very careful in how you work on friendships going forward, because you can't change your neighbors, isn't it? And that neighborhood, if the neighbor is rich, prosperous, it helps you. गली के अंदर अगर एक अच्छा और अमीर मोहल्लेदार हो और वो आपके साथ आपकी help भी करना चाहे, so it helps you in many ways in societies also, isn't it? So likewise, we have a neighbor which is willing to help Pakistan. So just go to last 2 slides and I'll skip few ones here. So on Pakistan, as I said, we need to study more on Pakistan, our demographics, our economy and the investment potential, the rising growth. We have our challenges, political and otherwise, economic also, we know that. But I think now is the time that instead of just telling us the problem, we need to tell the solutions also. And so that you guys, the younger ones, can actually contribute and work on those solutions based on your technology, based on the resources that you have. Last slide, go to second last slide. So we just have spoken about Panda Bond, and people like Hamid Saab have actually contributed to this, towards the financial integration of economies between Pakistan and therefore next. आगे जाइए, second last slide पर आ जाइए, so that I just wait here. So we go back. So आगे. So these are the pictures, recent pictures of some of the projects that we are working on, in strategic domain, from economic growth digital transformation, green development. और ये सारी चीजें available है आपके पास now. And remember, this is not your development plan. CPEC is not your development plan. It just supports your development plan. It supports your development plan till 2030, and then you have to look at other initiatives or maybe expand through other initiatives. So these are some of the pictures that you should know, and perhaps some of the projects that you should visit. And then last slide, second last, before that, एक slide पीछे जाए. So these are strategic focus areas: industrial transformation and self-reliance, regional connectivity, green and sustainable future, digital Pakistan, human capital and knowledge partnership. And these are the areas where our focus is right now as we speak. But there are risks also associated to that. But risk होना बुरा तो नहीं है ना. Risk mitigation plan होना बुरा है. Risk जितने मर्जी हो जाए क्या फर्क पड़ता है. And institutions like SGPI have critical role in that context also to mitigate or at least give a mitigation plan for the risk that we have, whether it's economy, whether it's regional integration, whether it's energy or otherwise. So last slide, अगर आप में से किसी ने, just go last slide please. If you guys do not understand to what I've said, just listen to the or read the address, the text of the address of President Xi to the joint session of Parliament in 2015, where all the milestone for CPEC was set. And he said that today China and Pakistan are shouldering the historic task of national rejuvenation, which is dedicated to the great dream of national strength and prosperity. We work closely together more than ever, need to play, because मैं इसलिए पढ़ रहा हूँ कि I want to make sure कि आप ये सुने. Need to play the advantages of the traditional friendship between the two countries, geopolitical advantage, economic complementaries, sharing opportunities and meet challenges and seek common development. So this is the vision China has about Pakistan in terms of shared prosperity and development. We have our vision also. It's just we have to put some more effort to get to 2047 as a more stable, prosperous, politically aligned, and economically integrated country. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Hassan. Very much rightly highlighted that we need to seek common development goals, and well, a lot of discussion so far has been diverted towards that, how technology transfer, industrial transformation, regional connectivity, and human development can be inculcated in Pakistan's context. And we cannot left behind what academia is doing right now. So you know that innovation cannot be acknowledged or cannot be transferable to any country where our research institutes or academia cannot play a major role. So Dr. Hasnat Shah, you are from the Pakistan Institute of Development Economics, and where you have worked a lot on the academia and industrial cooperation. And how do you see that this 75 years of relationship can be celebrated and revitalized in the academic and research context? Yeah, over to you.
Thank you, Salia. It's a wonderful opportunity. We came together here to discuss a number of things, and especially the 75 years of our celebration of our friendship, diplomatic relationship with a wonderful country, which is called China. Almost 75 years ago, we established our diplomatic relationship with China, and after 75 years, today what we can see is a wonderful example in international relationship. In the annals of history, you will not find a single example where you can see two countries who are not equal in size, where the governance system, where the culture, where the society is completely different, where the fundamentals are completely different, where the language is not same, but they are always remained on the same page, and they collaborated and they cooperated with one another. So this wonderful example was built on very hard work from both the sides. We can see that we developed special terms in those 75 years, some of the terms which His Excellency, she described that in Pakistan, we call it that deeper than the seas, higher than the mountains, sweeter than the honey. On Chinese side, they have a very beautiful, very terse word for this whole relationship, which they call Ba Thea. Thea means steel, and Ba means Pakistan. In another term, in a very frank way, they are using Theagamar. So mean to say that we are friends like steel. We are our friendship, we are iron brothers. So that is the way which we reach to the position which we establish this relationship. And the beautiful thing is this, that irrespective of the hot and cold, irrespective of the wars, irrespective of the international situation, we had established this relationship, we kept this relationship moving forward. We improved the fundamental of this relationship on the basis of trust, on the basis of common objectives and goals, on the basis of finding peace and development across the world, on the basis of sharing prosperity, especially from Chinese side, what they call President Xi Jinping, his concept is Gong Tong Ti, which means that we have a common, we are under the one roof, which they call again in their another theory is called Tianxia. Tian means sky, Xia means down. So we are under the one roof, we are human beings and we should work together. And that is the way how they want to bring the whole humanity and to fight for the one cause. Luckily, China and Pakistan join hands on a number of activities where they work together to improve the lives of people, particularly in Pakistan and also across the globe. We have unconditional support from China, diplomatically, strategically. On a number of positions, we needed China and China showed themselves. We are time-tested friends. One example which we just discussed, Khalid Saab and Hassan Saab, they discussed is CPEC. So on this 75th year relationship, if we look into broader perspective, what we have achieved trust. And trust not only in finding votes on the United Nations, common places, supporting each other, but also economically developing and providing opportunities to one another. China provided wonderful opportunity to Pakistan under CPEC. China invested money, they develop our infrastructure. While earlier, Sajid Saab mentioned that imagine Pakistan without CPEC. And now I want to mention imagine Pakistan without CPEC too. Why? Because in CPEC, when we focus on infrastructure, we try to develop infrastructure. That was a new model which under the Belt and Road Initiative, which they call EDA-ILU, they developed to bring development through improving infrastructure. So that was the focus which Pakistan joined, and Pakistan took a lot of benefit from those kind of projects. We expanded our economic activities. But now the thing is this, we want to move further. On this 75th year of our diplomatic relationship, which moved forward and we improved our relationship, what we need to do is this, we should move a little bit forward further from government to government and infrastructure development. What we need to do is this, we need to encourage private investment, where business should be created, where opportunities to earn money should be provided, where people will be provided an opportunity to get employment, where people should be given an opportunity to live a decent life. That is very important. We can learn on this 75th relationship anniversary from Chinese experience. China took 720 million people out of poverty, and that was a biggest success of Chinese people, Chinese government after Geiger Kaifang, the open up policy which they started in 1978. So we can focus on those kind of things. In our friendship, we should learn a number of things. I want to mention here one Chinese proverb which is very important on this 75th anniversary, where they call Confucius 2600 years ago mentioned that San Ren Xing be a washer, which means among the three people, one is my teacher. it means we should learn from one another. So why not we should learn from the best examples which Chinese government, with Chinese people, with China produced, and we should focus on that and we can learn on that. I can give a few examples from Chinese side, and then I also want to mention some of the things which Pakistan did and where Pakistan has comparative advantage. One of the things which we mentioned in CPEC 2 is growth corridor. We have innovation corridor, we have energy corridor, and we have livelihood corridor. We have 5 corridors. Khalid mentioned about Udan Pakistan. Udan Pakistan is aligned with the 5 C's of CPEC 2. And what we do is this: we want to focus on those things. We want to develop Pakistan. The first thing is this, that our export with China, despite the fact we have such a wonderful relationship, diplomatic relationship, is only $3 billion or $4 billion, which is not sufficient. Chinese trade market, Chinese export, Chinese import market is almost $2.5 trillion. And what is our share? Only $3 billion, which is not sufficient. Similarly, we can see the innovation. Similarly, we can see the green transformation in China, because the future is about green investment, green export, green production. So why we cannot learn and we can bring those kind of experiences here? We have seen one thing, that when the solar technology was imported, unfortunately, that could have been a better way if we started producing solar technology and solar panels in Pakistan. That could not have been happened due to some reasons. But what we did with Chinese collaboration, we saved not only billions of dollars, but that provided us a big cushion at the time of crisis, at the time of Middle East crisis. So those kind of things can be done. Another big example is in terms of finance, in terms of investment. Pakistan desperately needs investment. And investment is the lifeline of economics. If you want to increase production, productivity, you need investment. And investment, not only we need investment in production of material and goods, we also need investment in socioeconomic activities. We need investment to improve the livelihood of the people. So China Pandabond is a kind of a trust. Now, what this trust will bring to Pakistan, under CPEC 2, other people will start investing in Pakistan. It is not only about 8.8 billion RMB or $1.6 billion. It is the token of trust which they showed for Pakistan, and that will bring investment. So that is very important in our relationship. We should work on those things. Another thing is that we need to diversify our energy. One example I gave to you people was about solar panels. Another is this: we need to diversify our energy dependence from Middle East to the Central Asia. Central Asia is energy-rich region. And through CPEC, we can connect there. We also can connect our port through CPEC to the Central Asia, to different parts of China, and we can increase employment, we can increase earning opportunities, we can motivate and activate and stimulate economic activities in Pakistan. We can do a number of things here with China. And another important point, which, because we discussed about CPEC 2 economic collaboration, again, I want to bring your attention to our diplomatic relationship, which I mentioned that it was built on very hard work. It was not simple. There is no parallel in the history where you can see such a comprehensive relationship, such a resilient, such endeavoring, such important relationship between the two neighboring countries which we have with China. So now it is our responsibility to work hard to not only strengthen our economic productivity, to strengthen our economic capacity, our economic standing, but we also need to develop a people-to-people relationship. We need to understand China, keeping in view that China has already emerged. China is now a superpower. And if you are on the side in international relationship, global international relationship, if you are on the side of a superpower, so definitely you can translate your strategic relationship into economic success. So what we need to do is this. We are really happy that we supported China in connectivity to the global world, to the West particularly. And at the same time, we are thankful to China that China showed trust in Pakistan economy, in Pakistani leadership, in activities in Pakistan. What we need to do is this. We simply need to provide a very conducive environment to the Chinese company. So they come here, they produce, they contribute to our society. And hopefully soon when we are going to celebrate the 100th anniversary, or we are celebrate another anniversary of China-Pakistan economic, China-Pakistan diplomatic relationship, we have a number of other stories which we can discuss in such gathering. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Hasnat Saab, and very rightly highlighted that how Pakistan can connect with China and through its strategic cooperation, regional connectivity, industries, on the economic front as well. So recently, Pakistan has successfully launched its inaugural sovereign panda bonds in China's domestic capital market, which is oversubscribed more than 5 times and represent a historic milestone as Pakistan becomes the first South Asian country to tap this market. So, Hamid Sharif Saab, given your experience in Chinese financial ecosystem, how can we celebrate this recent success of panda bonds and how we can plan for the future of Pakistan for this? Over to you.
Thank you very much. I hope you're awake. I've been given the slot at the very end. So it's a challenging because I think we all have limits as to what we can absorb and concentrate. I'm not going to speak about the panda bond because it's a very significant event that we've opened up a new source of financing. Certainly, it is very significant for that. But the low interest rate is entirely due to the credit enhancement by ADB and AIIB. So that's not much to celebrate. We should have, just a day after our panda bond, I think Power China launched a panda a bond, and they raised for about 1.4% or something. Now, that's Power China, so their credibility. So that tells you what is our credit worthiness for the markets. So let me turn to what I wanted to really say. Look, 75 years ago, in May 1951, Pakistan extended diplomatic recognition to the People's Republic of China. We were among the first in the world to do so, and the first Muslim majority nation. It was a bold act of strategic imagination. Pakistan was then a Western aligned state inside SEATO and CENTO, yet our founders chose the principle of sovereign coexistence over ideological conformity. And history has vindicated that. Over 7.5 decades, through wars in 1965, 1971, and yes, the skirmish last year, through Cold War pressures and post 9/11 alignments, through floods, earthquakes, and the COVID pandemic, China stood with Pakistan, and Pakistan stood with China. The Karakoram Highway, that extraordinary act of shared human will, built at the cost of 1,000 lives, remains the most powerful symbol of what this friendship means in concrete, physical, enduring terms. CPEC has delivered results, real results. Over 8,000 megawatts of electricity ended years of ongoing crippling load shedding. 500 meters of motorway changed how Pakistan moves. A modern international airport at Gwadar, a deep seaport, 61,000 direct jobs. China today accounts for 53% of Pakistan's foreign direct investment just in this financial year. These are not numbers. They are transformed lives. We saw the fruits of this extraordinary friendship again last year. China affirmed that it will not allow Pakistan's sovereignty to be compromised. Chinese assistance in the skirmish last year was decisive with India. The friendship is real, the commitment is real, and on this 27th anniversary, it certainly deserves to be celebrated. And yet, and I say this with deepest respect for our Chinese partners and with equal self-criticism directed at ourselves. If we are honest, the economic partnership has delivered far less than its potential. The friendship is all weather, but the economic transformation has been at best fair weather. Consider the trade picture. Bilateral trade has crossed $25 billion, but Pakistan's exports to China stand at a mere $2.4 billion, roughly 10% of the total. We send cotton yarn, frozen food, and rock salt. China sends machinery, electronics, solar panels, and batteries. This is not a partnership between equals, moving up the value chain together. This is a supplier-consumer relationship that has barely evolved in 20 years. The China-Pakistan Free Trade Agreement in Phase 1 increased bilateral trade by 242%, but disproportionately in favor of China. The trade deficit widened from $1.4 billion in 2007 to $20 billion today. Even under Phase 2 of the Free Trade Agreement, Pakistani exporters have utilized only 30 to 35% of the preferential concessions available to them. The architecture of opportunity exists. Pakistan has largely failed to walk through this door. Now consider investment. Chinese B2B investment, the private capital that builds factories, hires local workers, transfers technology, and creates export industries, has largely bypassed Pakistan. Vietnam received over $15 billion in Chinese manufacturing FDI over the last decade. Indonesia leveraged its nickel resources to attract Chinese battery and EV investment worth tens of billions of dollars. Bangladesh captured Chinese textile relocation. Cambodia, Myanmar, Ethiopia, all of these countries have attracted Chinese investments at scale. Pakistan received energy and motorways, productive and necessary, yes, but on their own, these are not the investments that transform an economy. We built capacity to consume electricity. We did not build capacity to manufacture, export, and compete. The special economic zones that were meant to be the industrial engines of CPEC, Rashakai, and Allama Iqbal in Faisalabad, these remain, despite years after their designation, well below the occupancy and output levels of comparable zones in Vietnam or Bangladesh. And
we have been joined by Mr. Kassar Ahmed Sheikh, Federal Minister for Investment and Chairman, Board of Investment. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
I continue. So I'll continue. So I was saying that our SEZs are far below their potential when compared to SEZs in countries like Vietnam. And here's the hard truth. This is not primarily China's failure. It is our failure. We have failed to develop SEZs in the way we should have. So why, you may ask, did Chinese B2B investment go elsewhere? The answer is uncomfortable, but it is very clear. First, regulatory unpredictability. A Chinese entrepreneur comparing investment destinations between Pakistan, Vietnam, or Bangladesh saw in Pakistan an environment of frequent policy reversals, unclear tax treatment of SEZ investors, a bureaucratic maze that could delay approvals for years. Vietnam offered one window clearance in weeks. We offered committees and layers of bureaucracy. Civil servants are singularly disinterested in bringing investment into this country. It is simply not part of their KPIs. Failure to take timely decisions or to scare away FDI carries no consequences for these bureaucrats. There is a serious accountability deficit in the country. That people who have got us to this situation where we do not have functioning SEZs are never held accountable. Second factor is security costs. Insurance premium for manufacturing investments in Balochistan and parts of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa now exceed 8% of the contract value. No manufacturer calculating a return on a garment factory or electronics assembly line can absorb these costs. We have failed to provide the security envelope that productive investment requires. 19 Chinese nationals have been killed on Pakistani soil over the past decade. Every such incident sends a message to every boardroom in Shenzhen, Shanghai, and Beijing.
Hamid Sab, can we come up with the question answer session and then you
No,
can respond?
I'm going to complete. I don't
Okay.
you didn't interrupt the other speakers. Bear with me. Third, power and logistics costs. The very CPEC energy investments that resolved load shedding created a new problem. Among the highest industrial electricity tariffs in the region, driven by dollar-denominated capacity payments and circular debt, which now exceeds 2.4 trillion rupees. A Vietnamese manufacturer pays roughly half of what a Pakistani counterpart pays as for a unit of electricity. The fourth factor is skills gap. Chinese investors arriving in Rashake or Allama Iqbal SEZ, they need machinists, quality control, technicians, logistics specialists, and supervisors trained in Chinese manufacturing systems. Pakistan's TVET ecosystem has not produced them at scale. So Chinese companies went where the workforce was ready, and that was not Pakistan. We cannot blame the investors for their rational behavior. We must blame the environment we failed to build. So what must Pakistan do urgently, concretely, and without further delay? One, we must fix the SEZ's operating environment within the next 12 months. That doesn't mean the legal framework. We have the legal framework, but we need to fix the operational reality. One window clearance that actually clears in days, not in months or even years. We need guaranteed power supply at competitive tariffs inside the SEZ boundaries and a dedicated SEZ tribunal with authority to resolve disputes, perhaps within 60 days. Two, we need to restructure IPP capacity payment. Bilaterally negotiated and urgently this must be done. Dollar-denominated capacity payments that inflate industrial electricity costs are strangling the manufacturing competitiveness that phase two requires. The conversion of capacity payments to RMB denominations or structured tenor extension in exchange for tariff relief is technically possible. The 2025 dialogue between our Ministry of Energy and the China Council for Promotion of International Trade has identified the parameters as noted in the SDPI report. We now need the political decision. Every month of delay is costing our exporters competitiveness. Thirdly, we must launch a Pakistan manufacturing value chain insertion program. What I mean by this, when you look at Vietnam, Vietnam didn't wait for the Chinese investment to just arrive. Vietnam was proactive. It sent delegations to Guangdong, Zhejiang, Fujian, and identified specific industries relocating out of China due to rising costs and US tariffs. Now, the electronics assembly lines, the garments, the manufacturer, the furniture manufacturer, the auto parts, and it offered them tailored solutions and packages. Land at SEZ rates, not at inflated rates, as happens in this country, pre-built factory shells, connected labor, streamlined positions. Pakistan can do all of this. Perhaps the Trade and Development Authority of Pakistan and the SIFC should jointly get together and put such a program together. Fourthly, we must conclude the third phase of the free trade agreement and negotiate a chapter on IT services. Pakistan's IT exports sector is growing at 25 to 30% annually, approaching $3.2 billion. It is structurally absent in the current FTA. There is no reason why Pakistani software, fintech, and digital services firms should not have structured preferential access to the Chinese digital economy. The negotiation should be completed by end of 2026. Lastly, invest seriously in human capital in Pakistan. The 2025 TVET Memorandum of Understanding with China is a good start, but one memorandum does not build a workforce. We need Chinese vocational instructors deployed inside Pakistan TVET centers. We need curriculum aligned with the actual equipment and access of Rashakai and Allama Iqbal SEZ industries. We need placement guarantees for graduates, and we need this at scale, not 5 centers, not 500 students, but we need 500,000 students over the next 5 years. Sixth, we must address the security issue, not in a structured way and not in a tactical way. Every crisis response that treats the security of Chinese personnel as an incident management problem rather than a structural governance imperative sends the wrong signal. Local community grievances in Balochistan must be engaged with economic inclusion and not security deployment alone. The GSI framework, the Global Security Initiative framework, to which Khalid Saab referred, to which Pakistan is a proud signatory, calls for addressing non-traditional security threats. Pakistan must operationalize that commitment at home first. We are at a genuine inflection point, as Khalid Saab said. China's manufacturing sector is restructuring at scale. Rising costs, US tariffs, and supply chain diversification pressures are pushing industry outward. The next wave of Chinese B2B investment will land somewhere in Asia and Africa over the next 5 years. Pakistan has the geography, the demographics, and the Chinese political relationship to compete for that wave. But investments follow environment, not friendship. The all-weather partnership gives us privileged access for a conversation. But whether we convert that access into factories, jobs, and exports, and depends entirely on what Pakistan does for Pakistan. 72 years of higher than the mountains, deeper than the oceans, stronger than steel, sweeter than honey, should not remain just poetic words. They must become the standard we must now meet with economic substance. The next 25 years will not be written in diplomatic communiques or poetic words. They will be written in trade statistics, factory floors, employment records of Pakistani youth. The opportunity is before us, the urgency is upon us, the responsibility rests with us. We have lost too much time already. Let us change course decisively, together, and without delay, and let us finally unlock the full promise of this extraordinary friendship. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hamid Sharif Saab. And now I would request Dr. Abid to formally welcome Kaisar Ahmed Sheikh Saab, that we are celebrating here 75 years of Pakistan-China long-term cooperation in terms of energy infrastructure, SEZs, technology transfer, and also CPAC 2.0. Over to you, sir.
ठीक हूँ सिर्फ आप मिनिस्टर साहब के साथ स्वैप कर लीजिए आप इधर आ जाइए नहीं सर थैंक यू ऑनरेबल Kaisar Ahmed Sheikh Saab, Minister for Investment, Chairman Board of Investment, Honorable Speakers, Hamid Sharif Saab, Hassan Daud Saab, and Professor Hasnat Khalid Saab. आप सबकी यहाँ तशरीफ़ आवरी का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। आज हम पाकिस्तान चाइना के जो फ्रेंडशिप के 75 साल मुकम्मल हो रहे हैं उसको सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं। आपकी तशरीफ़ आवरी से पहले चाइनीज़ डिप्टी हेड ऑफ मिशन उनका एक रिकॉर्डेड मैसेज भी यहाँ पे प्ले किया गया जो कि एग्जैक्टली उन ख्यालात की रिफ्लेक्शन था जो यहाँ पे ऑनरेबल स्पीकर्स ने बयान किए। अगर हम देखें तो जो इससे पहले तीनों रिस्पेक्टेड स्पीकर्स ने बात की, हसन दाऊद साहब ने कुछ जो सक्सेस स्टोरीज है उनकी तरफ इशारा किया, हसनात खालिद साहब ने कुछ फ्यूचर पोटेंशियल की तरफ जो है वो हमारी तवज्जो दिलाई, और हामिद शरीफ साहब ने बड़े आसान अंदाज में वो जो इस वक्त रोड ब्लॉकर्स हैं और जो हमारा अपना ब्रिंगिंग अवर हाउस इन ऑर्डर उस पर बात की, that if we want to actually get benefit of what opportunities that are coming our way, if we want to really continue the journey of achievements that Hassan Daud had pointed out in his speech, then of course there are certain barriers and certain roadblockers that we need to address. So we tried to give a very comprehensive picture of what Pakistan and China's future partnership looks like. I know we are already running short of time, so won't go into much detail. We are very much looking forward to learn from you, Sheikh Saab, and especially in the context that federal budget is also coming, and some of the issues that Hamid Sharif Saab was referring to, especially operationalization of those special economic zone, etc. I think many of them would not be possible because of our existing IMF program. So we have to stick committed to IMF program, and within those realities, of course, we have to now see what are the other opportunities. One opportunity that comes in my mind is this changing geo-economic and geopolitical situation of the region. The presidential summit last week was very, I think, reflective of the fact that America is now recognizing China as a rising power. America is trying to get access to Chinese markets, that China can offer, and can Pakistan fit in somewhere in these value chains and supply chains? I think this is something that we have to look into. We have also seen that, and yesterday it was Financial Post's editorial, is US willing to trade off Taiwan? So they feel that President Trump, after his summit with President Xi, has softened his rhetoric on Taiwan's independence, rather have informed Taiwan that America would not be coming from all the way 15,000 kilometers to defend Taiwan and enter in another war, which is quite significant. And if these two powers, they are converging and Pakistan sitting in the middle where it has equally good relation with both of them, I think that's another aspect where I would like Minister Saab to actually educate us. So over to you, Honorable Federal Minister, Prime Minister.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। जनाब आबिद सुलेरी साहब, हसन दाऊद साहब, हामिद शरीफ साहब, हसनात साहब, तमाम मोअज़्ज़ज़ ख़वातीन व हज़रात, मोअज़्ज़ज़ यहाँ अटेंडेंट, मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगता है। हमेशा मैं आबिद सुलेरी साहब के विजन का, इनकी जो नॉलेज है और जिस तरह के ये यहाँ पे बातचीत करवाते हैं, इससे पहले भी मैं 2-3 बार आपके आ चुका हूँ, तो मैं मदा हूँ आपका, यानी कि बड़ा आप रेलिवेंट बातों को हमेशा आप एडवांस करते हैं। मेरा चाइना से तो एक खसूसी तल्लक है, क्योंकि यहाँ ज़्यादातर यंग जनरेशन के लोग बैठे हैं। तो मैं पहली बार चाइना कारोबार के लिए 12 नवंबर 1972 को, आई सी 54 ईयर्स बिफोर, वहाँ पे गया। वहाँ पे हमारे पाकिस्तानी और कराची से और लाहौर से काफ़ी बिजनेसमैन जाते थे और हम वहाँ उनसे ट्रेड करते थे। और इस सूरत हाल से इन सालों में मैं 50-60 बार चाइना मैंने विजिट किया। अभी बीजिंग पिछला B2B सफ़र था प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब का, उसमें भी मैं उनके साथ था। और अभी नेक्स्ट 2-3 दिन में 23rd को प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब हांगकांग जा रहे हैं, तो वहाँ भी मैं उनके साथ हूँ एज अ मिनिस्टर ऑफ बोर्ड ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट। तो चाइना को मैंने बड़ा माइन्यूटली उनको स्टडी की है। और आज मैं ये बात आबिद अगर यहाँ कहूँ तो शायद आप मेरा मजाक ही बनाएंगे कि मैं उन लोगों में हूँ जिन्होंने चाइना को कारोबार कराना सिखाया है। मैं आपको प्रैक्टिकली कह रहा हूँ, उनको नहीं पता था कारोबार का उस वक्त। आज तो वो दुनिया की 2nd लार्जेस्ट इकानमी है। यकीन जानिए कि हम उनसे बिजनेस करते थे, उनको नहीं अंदाजा था। ये वो वक्त था जब उन्होंने दुनिया के लोगों को देखा ही नहीं हुआ था। लड़के और लड़की का फर्क, ये आप तो बैठे हैं ना, पता लग रहा है कौन लड़का है कौन लड़की है। हमारे साथ अगर 2-3 बैठ के बिजनेस के लिए वो रिप्रेजेंटेटिव होते थे, तो ये अब सारी चीज़ें मेरा कहेंगे कि मैं एग्जैजरेट कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन ये हकीकत है कि ये मुश्किल था कि मैं अपने साथ बैठे हुए को पहचान लूँ कि ये लड़का है या लड़की है, क्योंकि एक जैसे बाल उनके होते थे, मेकअप वहाँ था नहीं और ओवरकोट होता था ऊपर, तो मुश्किल से पता लगता था कि क्या। तो उन हालात में, और चाइना को जब हम बिजनेस के लिए जाते थे तो हमारे पाकिस्तानी कराची के, लाहौर के और दूसरे शहरों के बड़े कॉम्पिटेंट थे, बड़े अच्छे बिजनेस में थे। पाकिस्तान वेल ऑफ था और पाकिस्तान और चाइना के तल्लुकात का ये हाल है कि हम हांगकांग से आबिद जब उस वक़्त बाई ट्रेन ही उनकी इमिग्रेशन होती थी, जहाज़ तो उनके पास थे नहीं। हमारा PIA पहली बार बीजिंग गया, PIA की फ़्लाइट तो शुरू थी, लेकिन वहाँ कांगचाओ हम जाते थे, कैंटन, वो हांगकांग के थ्रू जाते थे और बाई ट्रेन जाते थे। तो बाई ट्रेन जब जाते तो वहाँ एक उनका पहले वो स्टेशन पे बड़ा रिलैक्स मैनर में बिजनेस करते थे। 3-4 घंटे वहाँ इमिग्रेशन के लिए हमें लंच कराते थे सबको। दुनिया के मुख्तलिफ मुल्कों के लोग उस ट्रेड फेयर के लिए आते थे और वहाँ आके चाइना वाले बाकायदा बोर्ड लेके उन सब के सामने, उनमें अमेरिकन भी, UK के और वेस्टर्न यूरोप के भी कुछ बिजनेसमैन होते थे, वो आके सबसे पहले आके अनाउंस करते थे पाकिस्तानी फर्स्ट, तो हम बड़ा फख्र महसूस करते थे कि सब मुल्कों के नुमाइंदे बैठे हुए हैं और हमें खुल्लम खुल्ला वो पाकिस्तान से इतनी उनकी एफिलिएशन और मोहब्बत थी। 71 में हमने अमेरिका और चाइना का पहली बार जो उनके तल्लक बने हमने उनके बनवाए याह्या खान साहब के दौर में जब प्रेसिडेंट निक्सन ने उनके यहाँ विजिट किया तो पाकिस्तान की वसासत से पहले उनके फॉरेन मिनिस्टर यहाँ पाकिस्तान आए और खुफिया दौरे पे यहाँ पे PIA की फ्लाइट से गए। तो पाकिस्तान और चाइना के रिलेशन उस वक़्त से गहरे भी हैं और एक दूसरे, लेकिन उन्होंने मैंने उसी वक्त महसूस किया बड़ा अच्छा चीज़ और बड़ी अच्छी बातचीत की यहाँ अरुण साहब ने। मैं हामिद शरीफ नाम है ना जी आपका? आप तो आपने जो बात की बहुत मैं मुतासर हुआ क्योंकि आपने बड़ी पढ़ी लिखी और बड़ी लॉजिकल बातें की। तो मकसद मेरा ये कहने का था कि उस वक़्त चाइना में गुर्बत इंतहा की थी और लेकिन देखते हम जाके उनके कई लोगों को जाके किसी को कोई चॉकलेट दे देते थे, किसी को कोई इस तरह। और वो उन्होंने एजुकेशन पे उस वक़्त आप टोटल जोर दिया, एजुकेशन हर एक वो टेक्नोलॉजी पे जोर दिया। तो वो देखते देखते आज देखिए दुनिया की सेकंड लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी बन गए। और सबसे बड़ी बात तो ये है कि 800 मिलियन लोगों को उन्होंने गुर्बत की लकीर से निकाल दिया। हालांकि दूसरी तरफ हमारे यहाँ तो गुर्बत और बढ़ रही है। अब देख रहे हैं, मैं अपने इलाकों में जाता हूँ तो ये चाइना जब हर 6 महीने बाद में या 4 महीने बाद विजिट करता था तो उनको मैं तब्दीली देखता था, वो देखता था कि वो आगे बढ़े। तो मैं कराची चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स इंडस्ट्री का इलेक्शन लड़ता था और 87 में मैं वहाँ सबसे ज़्यादा कराची के बिजनेसमैन के वोट लेके प्रेसिडेंट बना था। तो मेरा चिन्योट से ताल्लुक है और हमारी बिजनेस कम्युनिटी में कुछ सोच भी नहीं सकता था पॉलिटिक्स में जाने। मुझे भी मेरे वाले साहब मना करते थे, वो कहते थे क्या बेटा आप बात कर रहे हो, हमारा काम ही नहीं है। क्यों बहुत बड़े बड़े जिम्मेदार जिन इलाकों से मैं इलेक्शन लड़ता हूँ वहाँ पे बहुत बड़े बड़े जंग का हिस्सा था हमारा चिन्योट और इलेक्शन सोचना। लेकिन मैं चाइना को देख के, यकीन जानिए चाइना को ये देख के कि वो कर रहे हैं और हम आगे नहीं बढ़ रहे, मैंने कहा जी मुझे उस फोरम पे जाना है जहाँ पॉलिसियाँ बनती। क्योंकि जब हमारे यहाँ चैम्बरों में ऑफिसर्स आते थे तो हम उनको मुख्तलिफ बातें करते थे। मैं आबिद कोई 1980 में, आज से 46 साल पहले, कराची चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स इंडस्ट्री की कस्टम कमेटी का चेयरमैन। जो मसाइल उस वक़्त थे ना, मैं खुल के फेडरल मिनिस्टर आपको बात कर रहा हूँ, जो बातें हमें उस वक़्त कहते थे या एज ए प्रेसिडेंट 39 साल पहले मैं 87 में प्रेसिडेंट बना, जो मुतालबात या जो मसाइल उस वक़्त पाकिस्तान में थे या काफ़ी कुछ वो मसाइल अभी भी बाकी। तो मेरी सोच ये थी कि हम ख्याल था, लेकिन मैं तो नहीं समझा कि मैं उतना कामयाब हो पा रहा हूँ कि भाई वहाँ जाऊँ जहाँ पे जिन फोरम पे पॉलिसी बनती है। तो उसके लिए बड़ा मुश्किल काम था कि उनसे इलेक्शन कंटेस्ट। हमारे चिन्योट शहर का जो 40% है मेरे हल्के का आबादी, आज तक कभी उनके मुकाबले में जीतना तो बाद की बात है, कभी खड़ा ही नहीं हुआ। कभी पाकिस्तान जब से बना है कोई बंदा उनके मुकाबले में सोच भी नहीं सकता खड़ा हो जाए। हारना जीतना तो बात की बात। तो मैंने रिस्क लेके अपनी जान का, और मेरे पास हमले हुए हैं मुझे बाकायदा। मैं अभी इलेक्शन पिछला जीता, सबने देखा मेरी पूरी लाठियों से मैं जीता क्यों, उन्होंने मेरी गाड़ी का तबाह कर दी, मैं बीच में बैठा था, अल्लाह ताला ने बचा ली। मकसद सिर्फ ये सारे रिस्क लेके सारा काम करके कि ये कोशिश करे कि कोई ना कोई मुल्क को आगे बढ़ाए। जो बातें हामिद साहब ने कही हैं में कोई शक नहीं है, लेकिन ऐसी ही है, एक बिजनेस कम्युनिटी के है। मैं रोज उनको मोटिवेट भी करता हूँ, लेकिन हमारे यहाँ रेगुलेशन से इतने प्रॉब्लम है। मैं खुद रेगुलेशन को देख रहा हूँ, हमारा BOI देख रहा है। आज भी हमने एक रेगुलेशन पे बहुत बड़ी मीटिंग की है, लेकिन पाबंदियाँ और पता नहीं हम क्यों नहीं समझे। अभी चैलेंज वाला कोई जो चाइनीज कंपनी, 2 चाइनीज कंपनी ने कामयाबी यहाँ बहुत अच्छे, एक तो आज ही IPO था जो इसका जो सर्विस और लॉन्ग मार्च टायर का है, बहुत हैवीली सब्सक्राइब हुआ। मतलब 5 अरब की डिमांड उसने की, तो मेरे ख्याल में 45-50 अरब लोगों ने कहा कि हम लेना चाहते हैं, पैसा कैश पैसा। मतलब लोग का इंटरेस्ट उसमें इतना। चाइनीज 2 बहुत कामयाब यहाँ पे वेंचर, और दूसरा वो ये या चैलेंज वाले अभी 4 दिन पहले हमें साहब मेरे पास आया, आपने जो बातें की ना मैं उसको एंडोर्स कर, मैंने उनसे पूछा कि आप तो वियतनाम में भी कर रहे हैं, हमारे यहाँ भी कर रहे हैं, क्या फर्क है? हालांकि चाइनीज आमतौर पे खुल के बात नहीं करते, लेकिन उसने, मैं देखता उसने खुल के कहा, उसने कहा जी वहाँ वियतनाम में हमें फौरी सड़क जहाँ होती है, वहाँ बिजली मिलती है, वहाँ गैस मिलती है, आपके यहाँ ये प्रोसीजर है। प्रोसीजर ये है कि हम एक अमेंडमेंट करना चाहते थे कि जो SCV में अभी बोर्ड ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट, मैं ज़रा फ्रैंक और खुली बातें आपसे कर रहा हूँ ताकि आप बच्चे जो है यंग जनरेशन दर समझे। SCV में प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब चाहते थे कि फौरी तौर पे कुछ हमें, क्योंकि चैलेंज वाली ये एक पार्टी जो है वो चाह रही थी कि हमने बहुत बड़ी टेक्सटाइल का यूनिट बनाना है, हमें आप बिजली का कनेक्शन जो है बाहर से दें। हमारे यहाँ पाबंदी है, नहीं कर सकते, यानी अंदर तो उनको देंगे लेकिन बाहर से जहाँ आना है, लेकिन उनके लिए एक स्पेशल उनको इंसेंटिव चाहिए। तो वो अमेंडमेंट कराते कराते 6 महीने हो गए, हम बिल अमेंडमेंट करवा रहे हैं। और वो प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब सो ईगर थे कि उन्होंने नोटिफिकेशन उसका प्रेसिडेंट साहब को भेज दिया, प्रेसिडेंट साहब ने साइन नहीं किया, तो वो हमने गलती से वो डिक्लेयर कर दिया नोटिफिकेशन, तो उस पर पीपल पार्टी नाराज हो गई, और उनको हमने माफिया भी मांगी, उनको मनाया। मैं बिल्कुल आपको फ्रैंक बात कर रहा हूँ, हमारे मुल्क में क्या है। तो अभी जाके वो बिल हमारा 6-7 महीने बाद, तो एक एक काम के लिए अभी भी हम यूज्ड नहीं है, हमारी जो ब्यूरोक्रेट है ना, वो उसको तैयार ही नहीं किया गया इस काम के लिए। तो वो उसने कहा मुझे, चैलेंज वाले ने, कि हम उनके यहाँ तो फौरन हर चीज हो जाती है, तो हम क्यों नहीं चाह रहे कि हमारा मुल्क आगे बढ़े। लेकिन पता सबको है, कोई छुपी हुई बात अब नहीं है कि हमारे यहाँ काम नहीं होते। मैं अभी गया हुआ था UK में, आजकल कंजर्वेशन है, कोई हुकूमत का कोई एक पैसा भी नहीं है, मैंने कई अपने मिलियन लगा के वहाँ पे कॉमनवेल्थ इन्वेस्टमेंट समिट थी आज से 2-3 हफ्ते पहले, तो उसको अटेंड करने गया था मैं अपने ज़ाती खर्चे। तो दिन रात सारे पाकिस्तानियों को जाके मैं मिला हूँ वहाँ पे, मैनचेस्टर में, लंदन में, और वो सबका एक ही पॉइंट है कि आपके यहाँ अगर हम आए तो आपके यहाँ तो कोई काम ही नहीं आगे मोड़। हमारा FBR है, हम आजकल रेगुलेशन को ठीक कर रहे हैं। हमारे स्कॉट जैकब बहुत दुनिया के एक्सपर्ट है जो कि रेगुलेशंस के लिए उन्होंने और कई मुल्कों में वो किया है, काम किया है, लेकिन वो FBR के रिफॉर्म थे अभी तक हमारे पास नहीं आए। स्टेट बैंक वालों को बैठते हैं तो उनके साथ कॉम्प्लिकेशन होते, वो सब मुहब्बे वतन हैं, सब चाहते हैं, सब मुल्क के लिए खैर खां है, लेकिन मिलजुल के हम अभी तक कोई रिजल्ट नहीं वो दे पा रहे। जिस तरह के अमित साहब ने बड़ी क्लियर बात की, जो SCV है हमारे, SCV तो कितने अभी हमारे पास मेनली, क्योंकि एक्सपोर्ट की इंडस्ट्री जो कराची में हो सकती थी, वहाँ हमारे पास जगह नहीं है। बिन कासम में अभी हमने 6000 एकड़ जो स्टील मिल की जगह है, बड़ी तरीके से जो 6000 एकड़ को हम देना चाह रहे हैं कि कोई भी इन्वेस्टर बाहर का हो या पाकिस्तानी हो, 500 एकड़ या 1000 एकड़ फ्री ले ले, ताकि लोगों को ज़मीन पे पैसा ना लगे। SCV जो और कराची के नज़दीक कोई जगह नहीं है, ताबे जी है, बहुत दूर है। और मेन एक्सपोर्ट की जो इंडस्ट्री है, मैं एज अ प्रैक्टिकल बिजनेसमैन आपको बताऊं, एक्सपोर्ट ज़्यादातर कराची के पोर्ट से हो सकती है ना, वहाँ होती है। वहाँ हमारे पास अभी SCV, और वो हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि कोई डेवलप कर ले। 500 एकड़ से लेके 1000 एकड़ तक हम सबको, पाकिस्तानी और बाहर के इन्वेस्टर्स को, वो ज़मीन कह रहे हैं डेवलप कर दो और आप फ्री ऑफ कास्ट ले लो। ये हमने पिछले दिनों अनाउंस किया, उसका नोटिफिकेशन वगैरह भी आ गए। तो मुश्किलात हो रही हैं। ये अभी फैसलाबाद के करीब जो फीडबैक है, उसमें आना ज़मीन का रेट बहुत कम है, 1 करोड़ रुपए है, लेकिन वो फॉर्मेलिटीज है। मेरे अपनी मिनिस्ट्री, मैं अपनी बात कर रहा हूँ, मैं एज अ फेडरल मिनिस्टर मैं कहूँ मैं बड़ा कामयाब हो गया हूँ कि जब तक हम मिल के काम नहीं करेंगे और सारा पाकिस्तान में ये समझा जाएगा कि किस तरह, तो ये इंडस्ट्री लगाना कोई आसान काम नहीं है। मैं तो सारी जिंदगी मैंने बिजनेस रिप्रेजेंट किया है। वाहिद फैमिली है हम पाकिस्तान में जो तीनों चैम्बरों के प्रेसिडेंट है। मैं खुद कराची चैम्बर का, मेरा बेटा मरहूम कोविड में इसका इंतकाल हो गया, वो लाहौर गया तो लाहौर वालों ने उससे सबसे ज़्यादा वोट दे के लाहौर चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स इंडस्ट्री का प्रेसिडेंट बनाया। वो मेरा फर्स्ट कज़न फैसलाबाद चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स इंडस्ट्री का। लेकिन उसके बावजूद हम तो सोचते थे कि बहुत ज़्यादा होगा, हुकूमत बहुत काम कर रही, कोशिश कर रही है, लेकिन जब तक हमारी ब्यूरोक्रेट्स जो है वो डिज़ाइन ही नहीं है कि मुल्क में तरक्की के लिए, तो जब हम खुद अपना ग्रास रूट लेवल से, मुझे पिछले दिनों कोई कह रहा था, वही इन्वेस्टर्स में से एक, कि आप इस जनरेशन पे काम करना छोड़ दो, आप नर्सरी के बच्चों को पढ़ाओ, हमारी जनरेशन शायद ठीक नहीं हो सकती। यानी इतने लोग मायूस हो चुके हैं। हालांकि काम तो हम सारे मिल के कर रहे हैं, मेहनत कर रहे हैं, कोशिश भी कर रहे हैं, रिजल्ट नहीं आ रहे ना। हमारी आबादी बढ़ रही है, हमारा 3% या 4% GDP ग्रोथ है, तो उससे अगर 2% आबादी बढ़ेगी तो किस तरह हम बच्चों को जॉब दे सकेंगे और किस तरह हम इंडस्ट्री, लेकिन नहीं हो पा रहा। तो अब देखें ना, कोई पिछले 27 साल में 9 साल परवेज मुशर्रफ साहब की हुकूमत रही जो कि फौजियों की थी, उसके बाद 9 साल में से 5 साल पीपल पार्टी, 4 साल PTI, और 9 साल हम 2 बार मुस्लिम लीग की हुकूमत। अब 27 साल में बता, इसके अलावा कौन आ सकता है? कितने भी फेयर इलेक्शन करा लो, ये 4 मैंने आपको बताए कि इनकी हुकूमत तो 27 साल रही ना, किसी की 4 साल, किसी की 5 साल, किसी की 9 साल। लेकिन मुझे बता देना कि किसके दौर में अब या कौन और आके करेगा। हम नहीं करना है ना, इन लोगों ने। जमहूरियत में तो आपके पास 3 सामने पार्टी है, या MQM चौथी पार्टी है, 5वीं पार्टी मौलाना फजल रहमान साहब की है, यही पार्टी है हमारे पास, या कोई और पार्टी। जमहूरियत में तो कोई पार्टी आएगी ना, इलेक्शन फेयर या अनफेयर, क्योंकि वो तो हमने कभी माना ही नहीं, 70 से लेके हम कहते हैं कोई इलेक्शन। लेकिन ये जो इंटेलेक्चुअल बहस है, और दूसरी बहस ये है आबिद, कि लोग कहते हैं जी कि जमहूरियत है वो तरक्की दे सकती है। अब ये रिकग्नाइज है कि इस वक्त दुनिया की बेस्ट जमहूरियत जो है, सब शुरू से ही हमें पढ़ाया भी जाते हैं और मानते हैं, UK में है ना, और एजुकेशन भी उनके यहाँ दुनिया की बेस्ट है, लेकिन तरक्की वो नहीं कर रहे। तो कोई और चीज भी है, कोई और चीज, मतलब ये सिर्फ ये जो हम कह रहे हैं ना कि लेकिन चीन ने ना, उनके यहाँ जमहूरियत है ना उनके यहाँ अदालतें फ्री हैं, क्योंकि चर्चिल का बहुत मशहूर है ना कि अदालतें अगर फ्री हैं तो हम, लेकिन उनके यहाँ कोई अदालतें, चीन में तरक्की की है पिछले सालों में। मैं गवाह हूँ, मैं उनके यहाँ पिछले 54 साल से जा रहा हूँ और उनको माइन्यूटली देखा है। कोई जमहूरियत उनके यहाँ इस किस्म की नहीं है जिस किस्म की हमारे यहाँ जमहूरियत का कंसेप्ट है। अदालतों का भी शायद उस तरह का नहीं है, लेकिन तरक्की तो वो उन्होंने की है ना। 800 मिलियन लोगों को गुर्बत से निकाल दिए। मैं जब अपने इलाकों में जाता हूँ तो उन लोगों को देख के हैव और हैव नॉट्स का जो फर्क हमने कर दी है वो इतना ज्यादा है, वो तकलीफ होती है देख के कि उन लोगों को, हमने तो रिजल्ट नहीं दिए ना। और ये सारे हर एक, जो आप मुझे बताइए और क्या तरीकाकार है, जब तक हम सब मेहनत नहीं करेंगे। यंग जनरेशन हमारी जो है, हम समझते हैं कि बहुत काबिल है, लेकिन वो भी रिजल्ट तो नहीं दे रही। वो भी, उनको चाहिए ना हार्ड वर्किंग करें। वो देखते हैं आपके दुकानें, अगर हम 8 बजे शाम को, सारी दुनिया में बंद होती हैं, हमारे यहाँ तो सुबह 12 बजे काम शुरू होता है। तो इन चीज़ों, बहरहाल मैं बोर्ड ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट पे आ जाऊँ, हमने काम किया है रेगुलेशन पे, हमने काम किया है आसान कारोबार एक्ट पे, वो हमने वहाँ से कौमी असम्बली से और सेनेट से बिल पास कराया, और वो हम शुरू कर रहे हैं उसको, ताकि किसी का कोई प्रॉब्लम है। फैसिलिटेशन सेंटर बनाया है यहाँ इस्लामाबाद में, उसमें हमने हर मिनिस्ट्री के ऑफिसर बिठाए हैं, और वो कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि बजाय कि किसी का कोई काम हो तो वो एक ही जगह पे जाके वन विंडो कर लें। लेकिन हमें और बहुत मेहनत करनी। आज रेगुलेशन की मीटिंग थी, मैंने सबसे कहा, हम खुद भी और सब, जब तक देखिए ना सीधा सीधा है कि रेगुलेशन करते करते हमें अभी 2-2.5 साल हो गए, और पता नहीं कितना अरसा तो वो लगेगा। FBR के रिफॉर्म को छेड़ूंगा मैं, बंदा हमारा FBR से तंग है। मुझे खुद पता नहीं, आज भी 2 नोटिस आए होंगे, कल भी 2 नोटिस आए होंगे, आते हैं। मैं आपको अपना बता रहा हूँ बिजनेस में। अब सारा दिन तो हमारा उधर लग जाता है, तो उनको जवाब दूँ, मैंने बिजनेस का क्या सोचना है। वो ये नहीं कि वो गलत कर रहे हैं, वो ठीक कर रहे होंगे वो, लेकिन कोई सिस्टम ऐसा है कि हम कोप अप नहीं कर रहे। तो बहरहाल मैं अपना पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू आपको दिया। आप यंग जनरेशन है, और मैं बड़ा ऑप्टिमिस्टिक हूँ कि पाकिस्तान में अपॉर्चुनिटी है, पोटेंशियल है। हमें कुछ न कुछ अपने आप को, सबको एफर्ट करनी होगी और मिल के काम करना होगा, क्योंकि उसके बगैर तो कोई, जिस तरह की हमारी पांचवें, देखिए ना, आज बात हो रही थी, मैं अभी उठ के आ रहा हूँ ईसीसी की मीटिंग से, वहाँ बात हो रही थी कि कोई डिफेंस वालों ने कुछ अपना कहा कि हमें कोई चाहिए, फलां ग्रांट चाहिए। अब मुझे बताइए कि डिफेंस हमारा, हम सेंसिटिव इलाके में हैं आबिद साहब, हमारा डिफेंस का बजट 9 या 10 बिलियन डॉलर है, और दुनिया में 19,000 अरब डॉलर इस वक्त डिफेंस पे लग रहे हैं। हमारी आबादी दुनिया का 3% है, लेकिन जो डिफेंस हमारा है वो 0.3% है। यानी दुनिया में 3,000, मतलब 3,000 में से ये एक हिस्सा है, हालांकि हमारे 300 में से एक हिस्सा है, और हमारी आबादी 3 में से 3%, 33वां हिस्सा है। और 1 पॉइंट यानी 19,000 अरब डॉलर के डिफेंस से हमारा 10, अगर हम इस सेंसिटिव एरियाज में अगर हम नहीं करेंगे, दोनों तरफ हमारे बॉर्डर क्लोज है, बिजनेस के लिए पूरी दुनिया में रीजनल ट्रेड होती है। साउथ ईस्ट एशियन कंट्रीज ने, जिनमें वियतनाम है, थाईलैंड है, सिंगापुर है, डेनमार्क, ये है अपना उनका मलेशिया है, इंडोनेशिया है, उनका दरमियान आपस में 70% ट्रेड रीजनल ट्रेड है, उनकी अपनी ट्रेड है। हमारे यहाँ इधर हमारा ईस्टर्न बॉर्डर पे वो चाहता ही नहीं है पाकिस्तान आगे बढ़े, दिन रात हमारे पीछे लगा हुआ है। कल परसों उनका बयान था, उनके आर्मी चीफ ने कहा कि इनको हमने जोग्राफिया से ही निकाल देना है, तारीख से ही हटा दे रहे हैं। बताइए, इन हालात में हम बैठे हैं, तो हम डिफेंस का बजट हमारा है ही कुछ नहीं, कैसे बढ़ेगा? उसका डिफेंस बजट है 85-90 बिलियन डॉलर, और हमारे यहाँ लोग मुखालफत करते हैं कि नहीं, ये भी ज्यादा है डिफेंस का बजट। तो फिर हम आज़ादी चाहते हैं नहीं चाहते, और किन माहौल में हमने काम करना? तो मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि 0.3% out of 19,000 billion dollar, our defense budget is only $10 billion. I talked in ECC today, but उन्होंने कहा, फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर साहब कह रहे हैं कि हमारे रिसोर्सेज इतने नहीं है। तो इन मामलात में जब तक हम सब मिलके काम नहीं करेंगे, हमारा प्राइवेट सेक्टर मेन तो काम उसने करना है। आज अब B2B जा रहे हैं, हमारी काफ़ी कंपनियां जा रही हैं, तकरीबन 150-200 कंपनियां जा रही हैं चाइना।
पाकिस्तान 106 कंपनी और तकरीबन 250 पार्टिसिपेंट है, और वहाँ से चाइनीज जो है कुछ 216 है, और 350 एज ऑफ नाउ जो है, जब हम आए थे तो उनकी पार्टी इज लाइक 600-700 की जो
106 जो कंपनियां जा रही हैं वो अपने खर्च पे जा रही हैं, कोई हुकूमत का उसमें कुछ नहीं है। यहाँ मीडिया पे अगर आप देखते हैं, अब मसलन मैं 26 महीने, मैंने एक पिछले दिनों बयान दिया आबिद कि मुझे कोई करोड़ रुपया महीना दे तो मेरे पास टाइम नहीं है, मैं डिवोट कर मुल्क के लिए 26 महीने दे या 27 महीने दे, 1 रुपया भी तनख्वाह नहीं ली। हमारे देखिए ना, उमर बिन अब्दुल अजीज बहुत बड़ा नाम है। मैं तो आपसे बड़ी कोई इनफॉर्मल बात करता हूँ ना। बात यह है कि वो उनका क्या था कि वो जब अपना ज़ाती काम होता था तो वो दिया, सरकार का तेल इस्तेमाल नहीं करते थे, अपना करते थे। हम तो सरकार का जो काम है, सारे मिनिस्टर्स भी 6 महीने से कोई मिनिस्टर तनख्वाह नहीं ले रहा। मैंने 26 महीने 6 महीने से नहीं लेगा, 3 महीने हो गए, अगले 3 महीने भी नहीं लेगा। और हम अपने जो घरों में रहते हैं, जो हुकूमत ने दिया हुआ है, उसके बिजली के बिल और गैस के बिल अपने जेब से देते हैं सारे मिनिस्टर। लेकिन तनकीद इतनी ज्यादा है पॉलिटिशियंस में भी, पता नहीं हमने क्या कर दिए। हमारे साथ तो आप देख ले, मैं अभी आया हूँ, कोई एक गार्ड नहीं है, लेकिन मीडिया कहता है कि पता नहीं आपके पास कितने कितने गार्ड। मैं अभी आया हूँ ना, आप खुद देख लीजिए मेरी गाड़ी, कोई आगे पुलिस वाला को पीछे, और तेल अब जो पेट्रोल होता है वो, जो कभी कभी हमें अगर अपने अपने हल्के में जाता हूँ तो मुझे एक गाड़ी मेरी तहफ़्फ़ुज़ करती है, लेकिन उसका पेट्रोल आजकल मैं खुद भरता हूँ, हुकूमत की गाड़ी, क्योंकि उनके पास नहीं है, और उनके खाने के पैसे भी हम जेब से देते। और लेकिन मीडिया कहता है कि नहीं, पता नहीं क्या हमने कर लिया। तो ये बात, सारे सीट यानी बेल्ट अपनी टाइटन करने के बावजूद मुल्क है बहुत बड़े डेफिसिट में। अभी मुझे फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर कह रहे थे, पता नहीं ये बातें इस तरह बात, वो कह रहे थे बजट बनाना बड़ा मुश्किल हो रहा है पाकिस्तान के, और हम क्या करेंगे, हम क्या डेवलपमेंट का प्रोग्राम कितना रख सकते हैं। ये अभी अभी फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर कह रहे थे बड़ा मुश्किल हो रहा है काम कि किस तरह टाइटन करें। तो बहरहाल एक क्वेश्चन आंसर होगा तो आप बेशक दोबारा सवाल कीजिए। मैं अपना पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू आपको जो देना चाहता था वो मैंने अपनी बात खुल के आपसे कहा।
आपकी इजाजत हो तो मैं एक रिकमेंडेशन दे दूं
जी जरूर।
और ये बेस्ड है, चूंकि मैंने सीपैक को भी किया, केपी बोर्ड ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट किया, आपका एक एससीजी रशकई का कंसेशनल एग्रीमेंट एक जो साइन हुआ वो मैंने किया सर, और अभी तक भुगत रहा हूँ। लेकिन एक पॉइंट मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि आप जब रोड शो के लिए जाएं, चाहे 200 ले जाएं चाहे 300 ले जाएं, आप इन पे फर्ज कर दें कि एमओयू साइन नहीं करना, सिर्फ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन करना है। ये सर, मैं एम्बेसी में रह चुका हूँ 5 साल, एम्बेसीज हैव बिकम ग्रेवयार्ड्स ऑफ एमओयू। ये आपको आके बताएंगे कि 400 एमओयू साइन हुए सर, मुल्क की तकदीर बदलने वाली है। एक या ज्यादा से ज्यादा 2% कन्वर्ट होता है कॉन्ट्रैक्ट। आप इस दफा कहें, दो चीजें, अपनी टीम आपकी बैठे भी हुए हैं, वन ऑफ द मोस्ट एफिशिएंट मेरा कोलीग है इसलिए मैं जानता हूँ। आप उनको बोलेंगे एक तो मुझे कल रिपोर्ट पेश करें जो पिछला जिसमें 150 लोग गए थे उसके कितने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स हो गए और उस पे कितना हमने ज़र मुबादला पाकिस्तान में आ गया है, वो पहले एक आपको रिपोर्ट पेश करें। दूसरा सर, अगले में आप कहें कि एमओयू कोई साइन नहीं होगा, किसी ने साइन करना है तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन कर ले। या हामिद साहब और हम इकट्ठे सर इसमें बहुत सर भी हम इकट्ठे थे चाहे
इसमें तो पूरी
ये
ये बात आपकी सही है कि एमओयू बहुत कम, जितने भी एमओयू होते हैं। अभी पिछले जो गए हैं ना बीजिंग में, वहाँ प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब ने बड़ी सख्ती की है, उसके ऊपर हमारा मिनिस्टर बोर्ड भी और सब बहुत तवज्जो कर रहे हैं दिन रात उनसे। ये कहते हैं, इनका कहना है कि 30% एमओयू उसमें गए हैं जो जॉइंट वेंचर हुए हैं। लेकिन आप दुरुस्त कह रहे हैं, मैं इससे पहले मैरीटाइम में मिनिस्टर था, मेरे पास एक एमओयू आया कि उन्होंने कहा कि वही किसी मुल्क के एक पोर्ट को दूसरे पोर्ट को सिस्टर करना था। वो 15 साल पुराना एमओयू था जो मेरे पास आया
सर। आप
तो मैं कहा मैं अभी भेजूंगा प्राइम मिनिस्टर को, तो मुझे समय वो तो मुझे पूछे।
सर, आप बीजिंग में जाइएगा, एम्बेसी में एक पूरा कमरा इस काम के लिए डेडिकेटेड।
हाँ, लेकिन वो एमओयू से असल पूरी दुनिया में आप नॉलेजेबल आदमी है। उसके अलावा तो कोई पहला तो स्टेप यही है ना, एकदम तो नहीं जॉइंट वेंचर सीधा वो पहला, लेकिन होना वही चाहिए। आप सही कहे, उसको फॉलो करना चाहिए, उसको पीछे लगना चाहिए।
दूसरा सर, आपके तवज्जुह से मैं एक चीज मैंने एक सर, मैं सर के जुबानी सुनना चाहता हूँ एक चीज। सर, बोर्ड ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट और एसआईएफसी मर्ज तो नहीं हो रहे?
बातें हो रही है जी, मैंने भी अखबारों में
कोशिश करें कि बोर्ड ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट रह जाए। ये रेगुलेशन पे जो ये काम कर रहे हैं एसआईएफसी नहीं कर सकती। मैं आपको रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि आप उनको नाम मर्ज होने दें। ये मैंने आपसे
देखिए, अगर आप मेरा पूछे तो मेरी तो ख्वाहिश नहीं होगी कि बीओआई और, लेकिन ये डिसीजन असल में सब मिलके कलेक्टिव डिसीजन है। और अखबारों में तो मैंने यही पढ़ा है कि मर्ज हो रहा है। आपने पूछा, मेरे मेरे यहाँ पे पूछो, जो मेरे पास बात थी मैंने आपको बता दी।
हसन सर थैंक यू जी, आपने इसको पॉइंट आउट किया। अभी मैं थोड़ा सा जो है ना, आज भी मीटिंग हो रही थी और कोई तकरीबन मिनिस्टर साहब ने ही हिमसेल्फ टुक लाइक 4-5 मीटिंग्स। तो जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर का सितंबर 25 का विजिट था उसमें तकरीबन मोर देन 150 एमओयू साइन हुए और एज ऑफ नाउ almost 30% are in very advanced stage, joint venture, B2B। और अभी यहाँ आने से पहले चाइनीज का एक जनक कयूम साहब के साथ डेलीगेशन आया था, उसमें इज लाइक अ ग्रुप ऑफ 22 चाइनीज कंपनी उनको रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे थे। तो उनमें से 2 चाइनीज, नॉट पाकिस्तानी, उन्होंने कि जी जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर का विजिट हुआ था उसके बाद 2 हम, एक गवादर में और एक लाहौर में, हम जो है ना ऑपरेशनल फेज में आ चुके हैं। तो ये जो आपकी एमओयू वाली बात है, तो हमको जो है वो किसी ना किसी वो नेगोशिएट करना है, एक्सप्लोर करना है। एमओयू है, फिर वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एग्रीमेंट में उसकी कन्वर्जन होती है। तो दिस टाइम जो है जो 100 मोर देन 150 साइन हुए थे, उनमें से 30 आई कैन गिव यू अ लिस्ट आर इन अ वेरी एडवांस स्टेज।
उन्होंने
और जी सर, दे themselves, the Chinese people, they are satisfied too much on this।
वो मुझे कह रहे थे ना, उन्होंने खुद यहाँ भी 1 घंटा पहले हमारा उनसे मीटिंग थी, वो कह रहे थे कि इतने हमें पीओआई ने और पीछे फोन करके हमें तो थका दिया है पूछने के लिए, बार बार हमसे पूछते हैं कि भाई क्या ये, अभी तो लगे हुए हैं सारे।
मैं खुद विटनेस हूं।
फॉलो अप का मैकेनिज्म जो आता है, अखतर साहब, इज नॉट देयर वो डेली नहीं, दूसरे तीसरे दिन वो बाकायदा मीटिंग ले रहे हैं और उसके ऊपर चाइनीज को वो फोन कर करके, इवन चाइनीज को पाकिस्तानी एम्बेसडर को, तो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह आई कैन, मेरी भी वही फीलिंग है जो आपकी है।
इकट्ठे हमने काम किया ना सर, इसलिए
लेकिन आप जो है वो काफी जो है बेहतर हो।
बहुत अच्छा
तो
सर। लेकिन एक चीज है सर, एग्जाम में भी पास होने के लिए पासिंग मार्क 33%। 30%।
अगर एसटीपीआई टीम वो केक आगे ले आए ताकि केक काटा जा सके।
इंशाल्लाह हम पास कर लेंगे।
तो बातें की, अगर आप अलाउ करें आप आए। सर प्रेडिक्टिबिलिटी पे आपने बात की, तो मिनिस्टर साहब कैबिनेट कमेटी ऑन रेगुलेटरी रिफॉर्म्स को आज मीटिंग थी। WTO के इस्टेब्लिशमेंट से पहले के जो रूल्स रेगुलेशन इंपोर्ट एक्सपोर्ट पे हैं वो 81 हमने आज जो है डू अवे कर, तो वो बहुत सारी चीजें जो है ना वो हाईलाइट नहीं होती, लाइमलाइट में नहीं आती। कोई सरकार की पाबंदियां होती हैं कि डिस्क्लोज नहीं करना, लेकिन बहुत सारी चीजें पॉजिटिव डायरेक्शन में सर जा रही है।
तो फैल साहब आपने इस पे जिक्र किया, मैं यहाँ पे जरूरी समझता हूँ कि पायड ने इस पे स्लैश सीरीज पूरा बनाया है, उसको लाजमी आप देखिएगा।
सर वी आर इन कांस्टेंट टच विद पायड और डॉक्टर नदीमुल हक के दौर से पिछले 6 साल से वो जो आप स्लश और रास्ता की बात करते हैं, तो वी आर इन हैंड विद पाइड। और यहाँ पे भी SDPI से भी अगर कोई हमें कोई प्रपोजल, किसी को मसला मसाइल है, तो सर वी आर एट योर डिस्पोजल। जो भी आप हाईलाइट करेंगे उसको हम कोशिश करेंगे कि किसी भी स्टेज पे लेके जाए।
इधर से केक केक अगर रख दे। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
पाकिस्तान में कई चीजें बहुत अच्छी है।
थैंक यू। एक रिपोर्ट। हाँ किधर है वो रिपोर्ट? ये सर एक हमने रिपोर्ट फर्स्ट पेयर तैयार की है पाकिस्तान चाइना के जो 75 ईयर्स है।
अब कभी विजिट हमें भी करो
सर मैं
तो आपको ट्रॉफी दे आएगी। हाँ आबिद बहुत पुराना मेरा सर रखा,
मेरे सर टीचर भी
आपके टीचर है। अच्छा क्या बात है जी, डेडिकेटेड मसल। थैंक यू।
आज सर
जी
No, we're pretty frank, but refreshing. चाइना का जो हाल है, I think very few people appreciate this. मैं जब चाइना गया ना जी 2012 में, मैं ADB में था, ADB के कंट्री ऑफिस, मेरे जो फाइनेंस